Well, it's just me and Justin today. Well, today I guess it's a little different. We're doing our NBA trade deadline special
Yes,
because
sir.
today, Thursday at 3 p.m. was the 2020-2021 NBA trade deadline, and we gotta discuss it a little bit. I mean, we'll probably discuss it a little bit more on next week's show with Tobe. But hey, it's just me and Justin right now. We got to break down a few trades. Well, not necessarily. We'll just break down who we thought did a good job, who could have done a better job, things like that. But we saw some teams. They decided to go into full rebuild mode, as we were just talking about. We saw some other teams make some moves that are going to help them make a push for the playoffs or potentially even get them to the finals. Who knows? But Justin, my first question to you is which team do you think is the biggest winner of this year's NBA trade deadline?
I think it's pretty obvious. I think it has to be Miami. Miami they just said they said forget about that offseason. We're just going to get them now, make this push for the finals now. And I think it was a smart move because this kind of locks in top 4 seeds in the East. I think it's down to Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and now Miami. I don't think anybody's getting in the way of those four now.
I think you're right. Surprisingly, right now, too bad Toby's not here. But the Hornets are actually ahead of Miami in the Eastern Conference standings at the moment. But like you said, I don't think that's going to last for much longer now that they have Victor Oladipo, big trade acquisition. I honestly will talk about him a little bit later when I get to a later segment. But is there anything else you want to
I
say about the Heat?
can't
Like, how do you
believe
think this?
I
Do you
can't
think
believe they got this guy for chump change. Everybody was saying, "Oh, the Rockets, the asking price is too steep." Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk and 1 first-round pick swap next year. Like what? They got him for nothing.
do you think Miami is now maybe more of a lock to make it back to the NBA Finals? Do you think this could potentially put them ahead
I
of Brooklyn, ahead of Philly, ahead of
I think
Milwaukee?
it puts them ahead of Milwaukee. I think this puts them up to the 3 spot. I still don't know if they'd be able to beat Philly or Brooklyn in a 7-game series, but they did it last year with less. So who knows? They got to keep Hero and Robinson.
That was huge. I don't even understand that. I mean, it makes sense because Victor Oladipo was going to be a free agent this offseason, and a lot of teams are probably thinking to themselves, "Well,
Yeah,
he's just probably going to leave, most likely
yeah.
go to Miami in the offseason. So why not just trade him there? Make him happy. It is what it is." But if I had to pick a winner, finally, I get to talk about my team. I feel like I have not talked about the Denver Nuggets in I don't know how many episodes. Probably since we've talked about maybe
Yeah,
our
maybe.
MVPs. I might have mentioned Jokic, but even then, like the Denver Nuggets, I think are the biggest winner of this year's trade deadline. I'm probably a little biased, as you know, I'm a Nuggets fan, but the fact that they got Aaron Gordon and JaVale McGee for basically, Gary Harris, who has been a long-standing member of that organization. I think he was the longest tenured Denver Nugget before he
Wow.
got traded. He was there longer than anyone else in the organization. So it is sad to see him go. It is sad because I've literally watched that guy since he's been drafted. He was there before, Jokic, Jamal, all their stars now. It's kind of sad, but hopefully he can do some things down there in Orlando. RJ Hampton is another player that they got rid of. I mean, he's only played, I think, 25 games for the Nuggets so far this season. I think he's a promising rookie for sure, and somebody that Orlando will certainly value. And then a first round pick. And then in the JaVale McGee trade. They traded Isaiah Hartenstein and a protected 2023 second round pick and an unprotected 2027 second round pick. So you could see the Nuggets really didn't give up that much for these players, but they got back in
Oh
return.
yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. Aaron Gordon. First. I'll start with McGee. I think McGee was just a nice pickup because you have to look at the Western Conference. Every team in the Western Conference has really good front court depth. You got the Lakers, obviously. They have Anthony Davis, Marcus Gasol, potentially Andre Drummond
Montrezl
could
Harrell.
go to Los Angeles. Yeah, Montrezl Harrell, exactly. The Clippers, they got Serge Ibaka. They have Zubac off the bench for them now. Utah obviously has Rudy Gobert, Derek Favors. The Suns, even they're the Suns as small as they play. They still have DeAndre Ayton, who's going to
Love
be a
DeAndre
force.
Ayton. I love that.
Exactly. So in the playoffs, when Jokic goes to the bench, I think McGee is going to be able to provide really solid minutes for them at center.
I think he'll provide more. He'll contribute more than that guy. Oh, what's his name? Who do you have now? Plumlee. You have one of the Plumlee brothers.
Well, Plumlee was there. He's not there, and he's in Detroit now.
Oh
He
yeah,
left
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
offseason. So
Well, that's
that
good.
was. I think that's why they probably went after McGee
Yeah.
because they realized, all right, well, we lost our backup center, Hartenstein. He wasn't really doing much for them.
Guy is,
Like I
yeah.
can't really say like he was doing anything for the Nuggets. And then I think he's just gonna be a solid pickup. He was, good for the Lakers against the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Dwight Howard. Um, so it's gonna be. I think it's good. And he's back in Denver. He was
He
obviously
really
there a few years ago. So
he really kind of he didn't really turn his career around, but people don't take JaVale McGee as a joke anymore. He's been on two
yeah,
championship teams
exactly.
now, so
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing. He's a nice playoff experience veteran, all that.
it's funny because like outside of maybe like Paul Millsap, and even probably more than Paul Millsap, he's probably the most like experienced player on that team
Yeah,
in terms of like playoff games and like you said, winning championships. It's weird to think about, but like that's literally like
he's a winner.
exactly. And then I mean, I can't say enough about Aaron Gordon.
Yeah,
Waking up this morning, if you would have told me the Nuggets would have traded for Aaron Gordon, I thought you were crazy because I didn't even think it was really a possibility. I knew that the Nuggets. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Nuggets have had their eye on Aaron Gordon for like a while, but I didn't think they were ever going to pull the trigger on it. So them getting Aaron Gordon is just going to help them in so many places. We talked about how Jeremy Grant losing him
yeah.
for nothing, obviously in the offseason, is still haunting them. Who if had he not gotten injured, he probably would have been most improved. He still might be most improved,
Yeah,
honestly.
because Christian Wood got injured too, so it's like really bounces out.
Yeah.
But
So
this guy Aaron Gordon, this it's like the perfect replacement for him. Like
he
if
might even be
you
better.
couldn't have gotten a better piece. I really think Aaron Gordon's going to help your team out tremendously, Jorie.
Literally, I literally don't think uh, they could have gotten a better player really to play next to Jokic, play in this entire lineup. He's only
Yeah,
25 years old. This season, he's shooting a career high from three, 37.5%. He's a great, like, off ball, just player in general, like a great cutter.
hmm.
So that's going to fit so well next
Oh
to
yeah,
Nikola Jokic because that's one thing Gary Harris was really good at, actually, on offense. He always moved without the ball really well. And that was like one thing I'm sure the Nuggets were like afraid of losing because a lot of the times, like you see Jamal Murray, he's a great on the ball scorer, obviously. Same thing with like Will Barton. They didn't really have like anyone outside of like Gary Harris to really,
yeah.
make offense without the ball. So I think Gordon is going to be really good at that.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of double big man pick and roll action. It's gonna be nice.
And he's a
All I Jokic better start practicing throwing lobs because
he can
it might be lob city up there in Denver.
he's going to be throwing plenty of lobs, I'm sure. But and Gordon himself is honestly a pretty good passer as well. Like he's definitely grown in that part of his game because I think he had to
Yeah.
playing with the Magic. So, I mean, it's just a perfect and defensively, I think is where he's going to make his biggest impact because routinely Orlando asked him to guard some of the league's best players when even like they drafted Jonathan Isaac, who's one like a really good defensive player, they would still have Aaron Gordon guarding, the LeBron James, Kevin Durant. I looked it up. I found an article. It said this season during the possessions when Aaron Gordon was the closest defender to these players, this is what they shot. So Jimmy Butler, when Gordon was essentially defending him, shot 2 for 6 in a game. Luka Doncic shot 2 for 12. James Harden 2 for 9, and Jaylen Brown 4 for 11. So that's four like all-star basic, four all-stars
Some of the
basically.
greatest scorers
Right.
in the league right now.
All shooting less than like 40% from the field when being defended by Aaron Gordon. I mean,
That's pretty crazy.
it's just I think he might be the missing piece for this team. For them.
Where are you guys sitting now? You guys are at like the 4th or the 5th seed, right?
I think the Nuggets are, I believe, 5th in the Western Conference. And if the Lakers, if they keep, slip falling, I just read somewhere I think that Anthony Davis is still going to be out for a while. Obviously,
Yeah.
LeBron James is still injured, so it's entirely possible that they could surpass the Lakers in the standings and get, a top 4 seed, home court advantage. Would I want to face the Lakers in the first round in a 4-5 matchup? Absolutely not, but it might honestly happen. So I think, again, I don't know if this makes them finals, like legitimately finals contenders, but it definitely improves their team. And hey, they almost made the finals last year without
Yeah.
Will Barton in the lineup, with Michael Porter Jr. as a rookie, basically.
Yeah.
Like I I think this is one of the best teams the Nuggets have constructed, and honestly, I can't even remember when. And I think they can legitimately make it to the finals, especially this year, where it seems like, especially the Western
Yeah.
Conference is just wide open. So
Yeah.
the Nuggets, they struck gold. They did. They just this is exactly what they needed. It's a great trade, I think, for the team. That's really that's what I got to say about it.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think even though the Miami and Oladipo trade, I think was the winner, I think this Aaron Gordon to Denver trade was like the smartest trade by both teams. It was the most well balanced, like it benefits both sides trade because
Yeah.
obviously the Rockets got royally screwed
Mm.
getting rid of Oladipo.
Oh yeah.
But the most underrated trade in my opinion is JJ Redick to Dallas. Nicolo Melli and JJ Redick to Dallas for James Johnson, Wes Iwundu, and a 2021 second round pick. I think JJ Redick is going to be a great little piece for Luka Doncic in the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
Because they got rid of Seth Curry. They traded him to the Sixers last season, I think. So this is a great shooting pickup. Helps space the floor.
Yeah,
I
everyone was.
was I
Oh,
was
go
really
ahead.
hoping JJ Redick would go to the Knicks. I was really hoping the Knicks would make a move for him.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Another shooter for New York. But I think it's a nice pickup. Yeah, like you said, I think everyone was criticizing Josh Richardson for not living up to his potential in Dallas so far. So hopefully it provides some more offense for the Mavericks. Currently 7th in the Western Conference. So, but moving on, I think we can move on. Who do you think the biggest loser of this year's trade deadline? Maybe a team, like you said, like the Rockets that made some trades that didn't, go well for them, or just a team that didn't make a trade at all that should have made a trade and just didn't capitalize on that. Who do you think is the biggest loser?
Ooh, well, you know, I'm going to say the Rockets, obviously, for obvious reasons, but I didn't even think about that aspect of who should have made a trade and who didn't. Um, I was thinking the Pacers. The Pacers should have gotten rid of. They should have traded Miles Turner. because we were all saying, I'm pretty sure all three of us, me, you, and Tobe, were really high on the Pacers at the beginning of the season, and right now they're barely in the playing tournament. So I think if they got rid of Miles Turner, they could have gotten, who knows, picks, some other kind of some just I don't know. I think they should have gotten rid of him. I think they should have moved on from him because there are plenty of teams that could have used him. I wanted the Knicks to go after him actually.
Yeah, I feel like they probably just want to see what they're doing with Karis LeVert first, because they're just getting him
Yeah,
back. And like, I don't know, maybe this just isn't their season, you know? Like, you still have a really solid team. TJ Warren, I just heard, I think he's going to be out for the season. So, like, maybe next year, once you build that chemistry, you have, Sabonis, Levert, Brogdon, Warren, Turner. Like, that could be a really, really good team. So maybe they just want to feel it out for one more year. Plus, they just got a new coach this year. I think this
yeah,
is his first season. So there's obviously a lot going on there. But I mean, I think that makes sense. They're definitely underachieving from what I thought they would be doing this year. But in my opinion, I think the biggest loser was the Portland Trailblazers.
yep,
On our last show, I literally outlined a trade
yeah.
that would send Nikola Vucevic to Portland. And
Well, they did make a trade. They did make a
yeah,
trade. They got Norman Powell for Hood and Gary Trent. So you were right about that one part. They
it
did
was
get rid of Hood and Gary Trent.
I don't get it because this is my problem with this whole thing. Nikola Vucevic got traded.
Mm-hmm.
And like you just said, Rodney Hood and Gary Trent Jr. got traded. So those three pieces basically are like what was like part
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
team. They all got traded. So that means both those teams were willing to trade those players. So it's not even a question of, oh, we don't want to get rid of this player so and so
yeah.
it might affect our franchise. These teams said we don't want them anymore. The Bulls got Vucevic for Wendell Carter, Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks. There's no way that the Bulls wouldn't have taken a package of Nurkic, Rodney Hood, and Gary Trent and picks. There's no way that's not a better trade than what they got.
Well, maybe Portland was the one who was like, "Yeah, we're not trying to trade Nurkic."
Maybe. I think Nurkic is finally coming back from his injury, so that could help them. But it's just like I don't get this Portland trade at all. Like Norman Powell, don't get me wrong, is like a great player. He's having like a career year this season. He's averaging nearly 20 points per game. So like getting Norman Powell is a nice pickup for them. But when you have Dame, when you have CJ, it's just like, what are you doing getting another like undersized guard that's just going to score off your bench? Like, I feel like that didn't
Maybe
occur
that's
to
what they
me.
just were looking for. Maybe they were just looking for that spark plug to just come in and be like, "Yeah, you just
They
have the keys
already
to the
had
second unit."
they already had Carmelo, they already had Gary Trent, they already had Rodney Hood. Those are like three players that
Rodney
could do
Hood, Rodney
exactly
Hood
that.
wasn't Rodney Hood wasn't doing nothing. Gary
Uh,
Trent, maybe giving up Gary Trent was a bit much because
doesn't make
he
sense.
could have been doing the same thing.
You
But
got like an older, smaller version of like Gary Trent Jr. essentially.
I don't know. I kind of
You could have gotten
understand.
a two-time All-Star.
I kind of like it because this is kind of what I wanted the Knicks to do. I feel like the Blazers are just kind of cutting off the loose ends and they're trying to like solidify like a nice lineup and just get rid of the guys who they're like, yeah, we just kind of had them hanging around. Like I wish the Knicks would have done something with Alfred and Frankie. Just just cut rid of some loose ends because that's what we did with Austin Rivers. We just said, yeah, see you later, you know.
Yeah.
We just had it. I wish we didn't get rid of him. We were just kind of part of like a 3-team deal.
He went to the Thunder, right? Austin Rivers, is that right?
I don't. Yeah, I think he did because the Knicks got Terrence Ferguson.
All right, yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, it's I don't know. I just thought the Portland thing, the whole Portland, I thought they seriously could have I don't know. I just thought they could
No,
have
I
done a lot
agree.
better.
I feel like Portland should have been very aggressive in trying to get like a deep playoff run team. You know.
Yeah, because this is the year to do it. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I think that's what the Nuggets did. So we'll see. But moving on, I mean, I feel like we kind of already answered this question. But if you had to pick like a specific player as the biggest winner of this year's deadline, who do you think that would be? Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, you don't even know who I'm gonna say. The biggest player winner is my man Lemon Pepper Lou Will, baby. He's back home in Atlanta, going to Magic City after every game, getting some wings, and he's heading home.
Lou will. Yeah, that was an interesting trade. I mean,
That's another trade. I think it's perfect for both sides. The Hawks get Lou Will, second round picks in like 2 years, and then like 6 years down the line. But then the Clippers got Rondo, which he's just helping. Whoa, voice crack. He's just helping an already really defensive minded team. So,
better team.
it's perfect. I think it's a perfect trade.
I feel like everybody hates Rondo until like he's on their team and he's playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's basically it's funny. Like I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Clippers are so stupid trading for Rondo," but like, hey, when it gets down to it, and he's like playing in the lineup with Kawhi and Paul George, and he's knocking down shots and like playing great defense, like you're not gonna be saying that. So
And think about this. That now they have Rondo and Pat Beverly.
yeah, that's gonna
They
be
got two of the biggest, just like
that's gonna be
grit and grinder players in the league.
that's gonna be so annoying for opposing stars, dude. That's gonna be
Dennis Schroeder is going to be having a rough time if they face up in the playoffs.
any guard, any backcourt really in the Western Conference is gonna be. Oh man, yeah. I think the Clippers, and I think the Clippers have a legitimate shot of making the finals. I really
I
don't
still
think
think
it's
their
gonna be.
bench is a little weak. That's the one thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it definitely could be, but I think their bench is honestly playing a little bit better though. I mean, what's his name? Luke Kennard. He's been playing a
Yeah.
little bit better recently, and
I've been hearing some
Terrence
noise
Mann.
about Reggie Jackson. He's just been putting up quality minutes on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think their bench is like pretty decent. Uh, not
They
like
don't
the best,
have
but
they're missing big man depth. I'm looking at their roster. They only have two people listed at center. Zubac and this guy Daniel Otoro, who's only averaging 1.7 points.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
But
But
yeah, I mean Serge Ibaka, they have him at power forward, but he's still a center. So yeah, they have three guys who can play the five. So I think that's where they're lacking. I think they need a little bit better big men depth.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think. I mean, I feel like it's just not going to be what everyone thinks it's going to be. The NBA Finals, like just after
It's
this
going to be
trade
something
deadline,
crazy. Yeah.
like okay, well then let me say this. I think the biggest winner, like we kind of talked about him already, but I think the biggest winner was Victor Oladipo. He got traded from the worst team in the league, a team who recently lost 20 games in a row,
Mm.
to a finals contender and a team that he was, like we said, probably going to sign with
Yeah.
once the season was over. But all I can envision though after this happened was that there's a scene following the Pacers Heat playoff series in the NBA bubble where Oladipo was just seen like dapping up all the players on the
Hmm.
Heat, dapping up like Bam, Jimmy Butler,
Yeah.
whoever else. And it just seemed like, okay, there's no way that guy is. They're not all gonna be. They're gonna be teammates one day. It's just only a matter of time. But I mean, getting Oladipo was huge.
Yeah.
The guy who in March, in like 6 or 7 games, I think in March is averaging 25 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 36% from three. He's just another guy. I mean, him and Jimmy Butler on the same team is just pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And they didn't give up Tyler Hero. They didn't give up Kendrick Nunn. They didn't give up, Dragic. Obviously, didn't give up Bam. Like they basically retained their entire roster, and they just got this. They basically got this guy for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just an absolute steal from Miami. And I mean, I literally think Miami could beat the Nets or even, the Sixers. I don't know who, but really like like they
Depends on the
already
matchup. It depends on when they face
I
off.
I just think that we envision a Lakers Nets finals like since the beginning of the season. Even before James Harden got traded to the Nets,
Yeah,
he got traded to the Nets. Like, all right, it's a lock. It's Lakers Nets.
yeah,
There's no
yeah.
way. But like Miami has all the pieces to beat Brooklyn. They already showcased that they can beat the Bucks last year. Philly might be a little tough because of the way they're playing, the way Embiid is playing, but if he's not healthy, I
Yeah.
mean, Miami could easily get back to the finals, in my opinion, if everyone can stay healthy.
It's really just like top 4 teams on both sides. Really, even you could say like the top 6 teams in the West, and then the top 4 in the East, top 5 technically, since the Heat are 5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's anybody's ball game. It
That's not that's
literally like
not a
anybody can
lot.
go to the finals. We're really a bunch of clowns for even trying to say that it's going to be Lakers Nets, because it really couldn't even. It could be like Suns, like it could be like Suns Heat,
That's
like
what I'm saying. It really could be like something completely different than what we think. It's all a matter of I don't know. It
it's exciting. It's exciting to think about these playoffs, baby. And
that's
there's
the
going to be
thing.
fans in the stands. I mean, not 100% capacity, obviously, but
I
that
hope
is going to
so.
make it even better.
I mean, by the time, I think the playoffs start in like May, late May, maybe. Hopefully by then we'll get a decent number of cities that are allowing some spectators because that
Yeah.
would make it so much more fun, dude. It would make it so much more fun. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about that more on our next show. But so
Will we be able to see some of these players on their new teams? How long do these trades take to
um,
like get secured?
well, today's Thursday. I think. I mean, it really just depends. I think it just depends on like how long it takes for them to get there, get situated. I think I want to say the Nuggets and Aaron Gordon. I mean, I would have to look at their schedule, but I'm pretty sure they said Aaron Gordon is expected to be there on like Saturday. So
Oh,
I don't know if they have a game this weekend. So we'll see. But I would imagine pretty soon. I mean, PJ Tucker already played with the Bucks
yeah.
already, so I would imagine like within a few days we'll see these players on their new teams. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, last question really. I mean, this is already a question I feel like I asked. I feel like I'm repeating myself so much. But if there's
Mhm.
one team or player that you wish got moved, or a team that made a move, or a player that you wish was on the move, who do you think? Who do you think that should have been?
I actually couldn't tell you why Chicago made this move for Husovic, because I wanted them to get rid of Levine. Didn't really care where he went. I just wanted to see Levine on like a really like on a solid team.
Well, hey, I mean, Vucevic is a solid player.
Yeah, I mean this could get them. Well, I think they are in the playoffs at the moment. The Bulls. Ooh, they're at that 10th seed. I think this just secures the playoffs for the Bulls. I think that's what this move is doing.
Does that scare you as a Knicks fan? There's only so many spots.
No, the Knicks
Atlanta's playing a little bit better.
we're in there right now.
Only,
The 6th seed. I think we're. I mean, we're only separated by like 3 games, so
yeah,
who knows?
that'll be fun
And the
though.
Knicks are losing. We're losing to the Wizards right now. Actually, we're only down by 3, but we were down by 25 at halftime.
Wow, that's not what you want,
Yeah,
especially
it's complete opposite of what happened last game. We blew them out on Tuesday, and now they're blowing us out, or they
what
were.
happens. That's what happens, man.
Is it? Have
Yeah.
you noticed that all the like almost every game this season has been like either like the biggest comeback of all time or the biggest blowout ever? Like just the other night, the Celtics almost came back from down like almost 35, I think. And then Daniel Tice missed that game winner.
Yeah, I don't know what that's. Maybe there's something there. We gotta
And the
figure it
Knicks were
out.
down when they were playing the Nets with that Kyrie game. We were down like 15 at halftime and we came back.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun game. That was a fun game. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. We gotta follow the trends, see what's up. But I think one team that should have made some more moves. I mean, we talked about JJ Redick getting traded, but I thought the Pelicans. I mean, I don't know if they should have made a move necessarily, but I thought it was just a little surprising because we heard so many talks surrounding Lonzo Ball that he's going to get moved somewhere. So, and then obviously the Eric Bledsoe, Steven Adams experiment has not gone well for them. So I figured those two maybe would have been on the move. But I mean, the Pelicans right now, they're 11th in the Western Conference, so they're right outside the play-in tournament. So they're not like that far out of it. But at the same time, like I don't know, not doing anything,
This
but
is the same
standing
position
still.
they were in last season.
Yeah, like staying pat. I don't know. I just feel like it's if they don't make the playoffs next year, you really got to question. Like I don't know. You really got to. I don't know if you have to question their players really, because I think their players are supremely talented. I mean, Zion is an all star. Brandon Ingram is an all star. Lonzo Ball is still only 23 years old and has improved like every single season since he's been in the NBA.
Magic just said the other day, he said Lonzo has the best basketball IQ. He's got the highest basketball IQ of any guard in the league.
Yeah, that was. I think I saw that. I don't want to question Magic Johnson about basketball IQ, but I don't know.
I mean, Lonzo, he is a
I mean,
great
he's
passer.
definitely up there. He's
He's
definitely
a
up
great
there. But
passer.
it
Have
seems,
you like I've never seen it like what Lonzo he's like Kevin Love Jr. He'll get a board and he'll just chest pass it across the court like it's nothing and it's a
yeah,
dime every time. Dime City.
yeah. But I mean, I feel like the Pelicans are wasting their star players' prime, similar to what they did with Anthony Davis. Like Anthony Davis, like was
I
one
didn't
of the
even think
most
about that.
dominant players in the NBA for years, and won like one playoff series. Like, how does
Yeah.
that happen? Like, why is it that the Pelicans continuously do this? Like, now they have Zion, who's one of the most like freakish athletes the league
Yeah.
has really ever seen, and they can't even like sniff the playoffs. I just don't get it.
I mean, Zion's he's only his second year, you know.
Yeah, but like, look at what
I
the
think
Knicks are doing with Arden.
Brandon
Look at
Ingram
what
is still the leader of that team.
the Grizzlies are even, with Ja Morant without Jaren Jackson Jr. are ahead of them in the standings. Like, I don't get it. You have your stars, you have the pieces around them, you got your coach that you wanted. Like, you should not be this bad. I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't
And
know.
like, I don't know if trading JJ Redick was like a good thing for them. Like, it's good for the Mavericks for sure, I would imagine, but like
I
trading away like a shooter like that.
I think it was about. I don't think. I think JJ Redick wanted to be moved. I think he was
Yeah.
unhappy because the team just sucks. But they got James Johnson in that trade, and that guy, he's like a hard ass. So he might get in that locker room and he might be like, "All right, listen up, everybody. I'm done with the losing." Like so. Who knows? He might be like a locker room energizer type guy. So who knows? Maybe they make a little turn with this small little trade, but probably not.
Yeah, man. It's just I feel like that team is just too talented to be as bad as they are. It's kind of frustrating because it's just
Yeah,
so good.
I thought Van Gundy was going to be a coach of the year candidate, and probably that guy's
Oh man.
worst coach of the year candidate.
Yeah. Is there well, again, we'll probably highlight some more trades, some more moves on our show that comes out on Monday, but is there anything else before we sign off?
No, I feel like besides Aaron Gordon, Oladipo, and Vucevic trades, it was just a normal old trade deadline this year. Nothing like it was last year
Yeah.
or the year before, whatever it was. Something
I think
crazy went down.
certainly a lot of implications moving forward, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah. All right. Well, this is good. Good discussion.
Yep, a nice little episode, me and you, Jorie.
Yes, sir. We'll be back with Tobe next time. But
Yep.
until then, take care, everyone.
Have a good weekend, everybody.